Hello everyone, welcome to a new video for SUI render and FET price prediction based on Elliott Wave analysis. Let's talk deeply what's going on in this area. Of course, for SUI, starting on the 2 hours chart here, we're gonna focus on the micro level today. So we have a wave 1, we have a wave 2, wave B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, again a wave 1. Now it can be of course a zigzag finished wave ABC here. And then what we are getting here is a potential diagonal, but I don't like it at all. If you remember, I always mention wave 4 looks longer than the wave 2 a little bit here. And of course, the wave 3 somehow looking zigzag, and same as for the wave 1, and the wave 5 is looking an impulse, which I don't really like it as diagonal, or what you can call this is kind of like a WX and a wave Y, in case that we are looking for lower. And that means, of course, it is a very longer sideways correction somehow. It might aim to take the low in the worst case scenario. And where you have a zigzag, you're looking for an ABC, again, zigzag here, or I would say flat here, by the way, 3 ways down, 3 ways up, 3 ways down. Or even you can call it kind of like an ending diagonal for this flat. But you start with 3 waves. This is an important thing. And you have, of course, a wave X in between, as you remember. So this blue scenario is still there. And in case, this is the worst case scenario, of course, that we might get for this potential correction, that we might still, of course, looking for something much more deeper, because, yeah, the crypto market is always weird. When it comes for something very clear as bullish, it starts to play a lot of psychology before we move toward the upside, because it wants to trap all of us, right? So basically, what we are looking here for the micro levels, lately we got kind of like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? We got an impulse towards the upside. So we have 1, 2, 1, 2. And then wave 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5. So this scenario can be definitely, of course, a finished impulse in a wave 1. So therefore, in this case here, okay, I know that it looks like impulsive here, but don't forget also the wave 2 is very shallow, no 0.38. So it might be also an A, B here, a wave B, of course, A, B, and a C. Your wave C is a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. And in this case scenario, you might have finished here an ABC actually, and you're looking here for the triple 1, 2s with a very clear wave 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5. All of them are impulsive, by the way. And this is, of course, an ending diagonal here for this wave. Now, after it, we start to see, of course, something like an impulsive wave downward. We got kind of like a 1, 2, 1, 2, wave 3, 4, 5. Now, the wave 4 can be, of course, playing, of course, right now as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, again in double 1, 2. And that because, of course, this might be only your wave A here for a potential correction. So we're gonna come back to this scenario where we have a potential A, B, and a C. So in SUI, we're still, of course, watching right now a double 1, 2, right? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 4 and a 5, which is finished potentially today. We're looking for a wave B definitely, and a wave C to be unfolding later on. Currently, we have passed the first zone, which is, of course, the minimum target 0.38, 0.5 Fib level for wave 2 here, in case we are looking for wave 2. But to mention is that this blue box is not hit yet, meaning, of course, as a timing. So the time required for this wave 1 here from the bottom to the top, you will see that the minimum requirement is 0.38 Fib time. And that means, of course, we might be in a longer correction. This is simply your wave A, wave B, wave C later on. We might still come back to this area even in case that we are looking for the 0.618, 0.786. Now, there is also another possibility as well, but still I'm looking for the same time. The other possibility can be, of course, a potential finished wave A here. It can be a finished wave A potentially and internally, or it can be even an ABC zigzag, and then you got a wave B already, and you're looking for the wave C so far. But this, of course, is a little bit lower possibility because the timing is not hitting the wave 2 yet. However, if this happens, we might still dive deeper for the one-to-one fib level, A, B, and a C, but it's gonna look like a zigzag. And this zigzag, of course, looks like a double 1-2 here, and I don't see yet, of course, a double 4-5. This is a problem. Therefore, the highest possibility here is that this is a wave A, wave B, wave C to be unfolding still for later on. So to be watched, of course, is a potential wave B very soon maybe, and of course once we finish this area. Now this area is, by the way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 can be called finish. So this wave 5 can be finished 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. But here internally with the last wave 5, you might be here in several 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5. So we might range a little bit lower. Yeah. But it's very, very close to finish anyways. This impulse, which is of course double 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5. Okay. And in this case, we might seek, of course, after a wave B over there, and then, of course, moving down for a wave C. Now, what are the possibilities that we dive directly to the 0.618? Well, we gotta be careful with this one, because if this happens, and we dive deeper, and we hit the one-to-one fib level taken from the A to the B to the C, meaning this zigzag potential, if broken, okay, we gotta be careful. It might be a 1, 2, and wave 3 is unfolding over there. So yeah, this is a very significant signal here and key level to be watched for SUI. Yep, so these are the possibilities. I'm still corrective, of course, for SUI. I mean, this is a clear impulse upward followed by something, another impulsive wave, but basically it starts to take the shape of a correction, which is a good signal. But despite, of course, the lows that we saw, of course, after the rebound yesterday, it was a nice rebound, by the way. It has started to look like a 1, 2, 3. And especially that you have overshooted kind of, yeah, even overshooted the 1.618, which is very weird. It's a trap. Yeah, so very weird trap after even a leading diagonal, very clear signal of a wave 1, wave 2, and then wave 3 hitting the 1.618, looking to something corrective, by the way, which I was a little bit surprised today after having 3 waves after it. Why we dive very, very deep? It was supposed to be 3 waves down, 3 waves up, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and moving up. But the things start to melt down, which is very weird, honestly. Very weird. I don't know. The crypto market sometimes is simply very dramatic, I would say. So, and today is one of those cases. Now, basically, you can consider that this impulse is finished. We might, of course, be looking for higher. That's it regarding SUI. Let's go to render. Now, for render, what we are looking at for render, if you remember, I have mentioned several times before and yesterday as well that I don't like render weaknesses. Yeah, it's not really nice to see it, an A, B, C, a D, and an E here finished as a triangle and followed by an impulse and as a potential 1, 2. I don't like it at all. And I see, of course, this weakness still continuing even after a potential 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. But of course, don't forget the possibility here of the finished impulse wave 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and A, B, and a C toward the upside. So you have an A, B, 3 waves, and a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 toward the upside. That's why it might be an impulse. Where you have finished a potential wave 2 here, being bearish, and you continue toward the downside. So we are looking here as also potential 1, 2, and this is, of course, a very deep wave 3, potentially, because we have, of course, we simply took the low here. It has invalidated a 1, 2, of course. You cannot call this 1, 2 anymore, so it's really, really not good. And, of course, our confirmation for lower has been given already, and here we go, we dive deeper. So for render, I would say I'm not satisfied at all with this price that I'm looking at. It's not looking good, honestly, for the bullish here. So we gotta be, of course, very clear here, and we have to be very, we have to accept it, of course, that this is not looking good for bullish. Okay, so we gotta say it very loud and clear. We are in the perfect blue zone for a wave 3, right? On the 1 hour chart, you can see, of course, a double 1-2 here, wave 3, wave 4, 5, 4, and a 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. Well, it can be, but the wave 3, yeah, okay, it's still longer a little bit than the zone 1. Meaning you can, of course, have top for wave 3, you're looking for a wave 4 and a wave 5 to be continuing toward the downside. Now, what does it mean for render here? It's a very, very critical price for render. It shows actually something not nice, of course, on the daily. And that means, of course, it can be a deeper correction here unfolding for render. Meaning, we are very likely that we are in this possibility of a wave A in a zigzag. You got 3 waves down for an ABC here, but this might be playing only as your wave A. And after this wave A, we got the triangle, which is ABCDE, signal of correction, and of course, you move downward. And the signal for this is the current impulse that it is unfolding right now. Plus, our confirmation for lower on the daily has been hit as well. We gotta be careful. This doesn't look good for render, honestly, guys. We might be in a very deep correction, A, B, and a C here. Okay, finishing, of course, kind of like a longer or deeper wave B or deeper wave 2. And that means, of course, you might be in an 1-2, even 1-2. So it still can be an A, B, C for a wave 2, and then moving for higher again. But this right now is not looking good for render. Honestly, this is this is a little bit disappointing, I would say, for render, right? So we gotta be careful with it. Now, if the things are going to rebound somehow, and we're gonna see something else unfolding. Now, it can be, of course, that you might be here also in something bigger than just a simple triangle. It can be something like A, B, potentially the wave B is still unfolding toward the downside here, and then, of course, moving towards higher prices. But this signal today is saying that, okay, we are very likely gonna take the very lows here. Plus, we're very, very close to break momentum. So this momentum taking from the lows, we're very, very close right now to break it again. We broke it almost before, but it has rebounded, and now, of course, we're testing it again. So we gotta be careful with this one, with render is not really looking strong yet. And potentially we might be, of course, visiting this area, which is an A, B, and a C. 1-to-1 fib level, $1.29. That is very catastrophe for render to come back to this area. And this has started to happen, of course, once render was delisted, of course. Render, I'm talking about the RNDR, yeah? Once this guy has been delisted on the major exchanges, and we left with this typical render, the things start to be very weak for render since that time. So that was it for render, guys. We're gonna see for FET. For FET, we're looking also on the 2 hours chart first. Again, FET, we see an 886 hit, today, which is not looking good at all, right? And the diagonal here is invalidated. Why? Wave 3 is start to be longer than wave 1, and this is definitely an impulse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wave 4 not invalidated, and this is a finished impulse here. Now the question mark, is this impulse related to the ABC? Well, very low possibility, because we have passed so far the fib levels for a wave C. Meaning a wave C as a regular expanding flat has been already passed. And that means, of course, we might be here in an A, B, and a C, unfortunately. Very likely scenario that it is a zigzag A, B, C here. And that this might be, of course, your wave 1, 2 here. So Unlikely to be in wave 2. Now, I know we are at 886. The rule, of course, says always to take the low first for invalidation, but much more higher possibility right now that we are in a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. Okay, which is, of course, a potential bearish scenario, guys. Now, internally, this wave even is not finished yet. You see, of course, a potential 1, 2 here, and 3, 4, and a 5 to still be unfolding, meaning the low is going to be taken. Okay, so the low is going to be taken there. And yeah, this also for FET doesn't look good. In a bigger picture, again, I'm going to the daily and explain the scenario that I always mention as correction. It is the only possibility, by the way. Finding that that we have a potential correction here, longer correction. It is the only possibility against the bullish, and it is unfolding. Why? Well, it's a dramatic market again. So basically what we have here is a 3 waves down, right? 3 waves down, and we're looking here for a sideways triangle. A, B, C, D, and an E. Yeah, and then followed by an impulse, which is the current impulse right now. Of course, I don't like this triangle. It's so looking very clear triangle, A, B, C, D, and an E. And then if we dive deeper here after the wave E, of course, we are looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. And currently, of course, this has transformed, as we said, as an ABC, which is right now a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. So the low is going to be taken, definitely. After this, we're looking, of course, for something as a rebound, but yeah, like a 1, 2, and then 3, 4, 5 downward, I would say yes, of course. And we're looking for a potential wave B in a longer correction, guys. So, yeah, the things are not looking nice in the crypto market today. We got a very bad signal for many coins. However, SUI is still holding a little bit. It still can be, of course, reversing toward the upside. But if we see some weaknesses for some altcoins, it also might kind of like influence even the strong coins, which are like SUI, Solana, and Ethereum. But we're gonna take step by step, guys, those coins. But for Render and FT, you gotta be very careful with them because a lot of weakness are showing up in it. That was it for SUI, Render, and FT. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your likes and comments. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.